What's up, everybody, and Merry Christmas. Welcome to the Press X Podcast, episode 103, your weekly podcast for gaming news and opinions, coming at you each and every Monday at noon Eastern. Sometimes. I am Kevin McManus. With me, Nick Hassell.
This is the worst time of the year to be named Nick, by the way. Stupid Santa references.
That's pretty good. Today, we are going to be talking about our favorite Christmas kind of memories, presents, opening games, things along those lines. We're going to be talking about Nintendo and what year we think was their best year overall. We penciled that one in. I was a little worried we wouldn't get to it for a while, but we penciled that one in. And then
in time.
I just want to point out what we're going to be doing next week, which is New Year's Day. We're going to be doing the most disappointing games, and since it's technically the next year, we'll do our predictions. We'll go over what we got wrong and set new 2018 predictions, which I'm sure will be wrong as well. But, well, I'm excited. I don't remember almost any of my predictions, so I'm excited to go over that. Yeah. And then the week after that, which is the 8th, we will be doing Game of the Year. Yeah. We're going to be talking about the whole episode. Basically, it's just going to be us talking Game of the Year because there's so many games that we need to cover.
A very factual episode.
So, with that said, let's start out with what we've been playing.
Okay.
And do you want to start or should I start?
Usually I would
giving season, so
yeah.
You can
usually
start.
I would say you start, but since we're so close to Game of the Year
Christmas.
talk, that I'm not going to go overboard like usual.
Got my eggnog.
I got my beer nog.
You didn't even get the Christmas version.
You already judged me. So this week was a productive week. This was close to year end, and had a lot of piling up on my desk, and I said, let's just go through it. So finished Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I took a timestamp of the save file at the end, but I don't remember. I think it was 104 hours. So I think Persona just beat it.
Wow, yeah.
But honestly, I'm 60% done with that game. There's so many side quests and a lot of things that I don't think I've mentioned so far. In the
you
2-3
haven't been on
weeks.
in a while talking about that game. I think you only brought it up once, maybe.
I keep talking about it, but we just keep getting closer and closer. And I don't know. I feel like the people that are going to play it have already got it. Maybe they haven't started it yet, but I know people like Craig have kind of poked their head in it, and a few more people. And obviously, it's not going to get the super high critic ratings that a Mario and Zelda, where it turns heads and go, oh, maybe I ought to play this. There's a Pokemon sort of system built into the game.
Oh,
not for cutesy animal capturing or anything like that, but
for slave people.
Yikes. Not condoned on this show. But as I mentioned before, the battle system is someone actively attacking and someone supporting. So if you think a pitcher and catcher duo for baseball, it's not it's not one person fighting someone else sort of thing. It's a two-person kind of tangent or team. So a lot of the people that support you, whether you're the tank role, healer role, or attacker, the person that's supporting you is it's like a slot, and you get 3 of those, and you can swap between them actively for boosts and things like that. It comes into play a lot during the combat, so you can capture or I guess unlock or find a lot of people that are your support. Mm-hmm. And you can share that between your teammates on your squad.
Final Fantasy 13-2. 13 has the same system, but they're people, so they're just party members, and you just you don't actually really get to pick your party in that game, which is part of the reason people don't like it. It tells you who your party's going to be. In 13-2, it has the Pokemon aspect. You literally fight the monsters, and they have a chance to drop a version of themselves, and one you might catch it, and it's oh, okay, this thing's a tank. So you could put it in a build where you're magic-based, and then your partner's sword-based, and then you have a tank. Or you might get one that is magic-based, and you might...
And that's the purpose for
it
these
reminded
two.
me of that.
Yeah, that's actually really good description, a really good comparison at least. And the cool thing about it is that all these, they're called blades, but we'll just stay Pokemon just for the easy reference. The cool thing about all of these things that you can collect is that they all have their own stories, too.
Are they human?
No.
Okay. Never mind. I take back my
They are very human-like, though.
Right. I knew that much.
But yeah, they manifest in different ways. But yeah, they are very human-like. They talk. They have stories and lives and stuff. But the cool thing about it is that they have their own stories. So one wants to be a singer. One wants to go and make gourmet desserts. And silly stuff like that. But some people have active roles too. Like there's one big scary guy who's not scary. He, people
Big
run.
teddy bear?
Yeah, people run from him, and he's confused. So he tries to actively like go out of his way and help people to show that he's not such a mean guy. Like they all have little like story arcs, and that was cool because at first, I think JRPGs still kind of layer on too many fetch quests. Hey, I'm cooking tonight. I need these 4 ingredients, and you got to go out in the field and find those 4 ingredients. Like there's still a little bit too much of that. So it was nice that side quests also featured, hey, here's this cool thing that you just captured who's really powerful. It could be more powerful if you went and did this, though, because it like unlocks skill trees and stuff when you do it, too. So there's like a nice gameplay element. It's a nice break from doing the super convoluted hero save the world that JRPGs are quite known for, and it still holds up here. And but it also kind of takes you from a 55-hour game to a 104-hour game. So that's why I said I'm probably about 60%. I'm nowhere. I don't have near as many people as I would want. I'd say about 50% of the rare Pokemon-like people or blades that you can capture. Maybe have half of those, and I've done maybe a quarter of those that I've captured stories. It's just a lot. And year's end, and, I want to get to some more stuff.
Gotta move on.
So beat that. Really like it. It will most likely come up again here in 2 weeks when we talk about the good parts of the year.
Not the disappointing.
The second game I played was Doki Doki Literature Club.
Ooh, baby. So I'm excited about this because I played it on our 100th episode was when I talked about it, but like no one at the table knew what that game was. I was just like, it's a game. Go play it. Check it out. Now I have somebody to lightly talk about it with, and I'm excited.
Knew of it, but this end of the table was kind of weighing me down as far as chances to get in there and play it. Finally played it immediately after I beat Xenoblade, same night, because I knew I had a good 4-6 hour window.
And the verdict?
That is what it's perfect for. It's the correct kind of time slot to play it. Really liked it.
Me too.
It is very hard to talk about without, I don't want to say spoiling it, because it's like, this character turns out to be this guy's father. It's not like that kind of spoil. It's like the game.
It's just better knowing nothing.
Yeah, it's better knowing nothing, and one of the taglines that 2 or 3 characters say inside the game is "Don't judge a book by its cover," and that's like if there was a back of the box quote, that would be it.
The way I was saying it is, it's a visual novel. Dating sim where you're dating these anime girls, whatever, and obviously that instantly brings people that are like, I have no interest in this and whatever. That's fine. They can leave.
It is,
but like somebody who's willing to give it a try, it is so much more than that, and they know that people are going to treat it as, oh, this is a dumb anime thing. You know what I mean? And they know that, and they play with that, and it's so good.
It is very
the
much
writing's fantastic too.
It's very much meant to appear.
To read. You did a good.
It's very much meant to appear as a, like, I don't want to say childish because kids aren't supposed to play those games, but dating sim is very much up that alley, and it presents itself that way, and it wants you to go into the game thinking that. What happens from there, it only takes you a couple hours to figure it out. Like I said, 4 to 6 hour game at the most part, unless you just really dive deep.
You can go real crazy.
A lot of depth to this game. So once again, one of those don't judge a book by its cover sort of thing. It is very much, I think every review, also don't look at a review for it before you play.
Don't look at it's free.
Every
Steam,
review goes along the same sort of lines where maybe this website had a super weeb, loves Japanese, plays dating sims sort of games, loved it. Whereas this guy who's Mr. Modern Warfare or like Gears of War bro guy, he played it, and same thing with every single type of person that wouldn't already be playing it. Say, I went into this thinking it was one thing, turned out to be different.
You have to appreciate it. As long as you play it all the way through and you see what they're trying to do, you have to appreciate what they did because they did it. I really, really like that game. I have no clue how to, like, we're talking like game of the year stuff. I have no clue. I've never played a visual novel and like considered it, in a game of the year discussion. So it's weird for me to try to put that against, well, what's that like versus Hellblade, and what's that like versus Mario? But
and I don't like.
We'll have that discussion.
I don't normally play visual novels that aren't already with licensed material. So like Steins Gate.
Yeah.
I like playing visual novels that are spin-offs of something I already know. Whereas this was brand new, its own little thing, might have further implications, who knows. It sounds like that team's hard at work on a few more games.
They need money. The game was free.
Yeah.
Please support them. It was really good.
Yeah, usually AAA studios don't put out free games. But, you know, what's that? But it was really cool. A really cool idea, and I'm glad that they did it because it serves a lot of fan bases that it might not normally have hit if it was just 100% cutesy dating sim.
If it costs money. I think making it free was like a clutch move that they did that really helps it, because even me, like, if it was $1.99, I might not have played it, honestly, because I played that game. I just couldn't sleep one day, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get this free game everybody's talking about and check it out. And I played through the whole thing in one sitting.
Yeah,
I was
it was 7 a.m. I was at work, and there you were playing that.
It was awesome. So I don't know. But yeah, I've been wanting to chit-chat.
Yeah.
We've chit-chatted off camera now. But I've been wanting to talk to somebody about that game. I've now gotten, I don't know if I'd say I got you to play it, because you probably would have played it anyway. But I've gotten multiple people to play it.
Yeah.
And they've all enjoyed it very much, especially even like people who don't play that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, very good game. Check it out.
Yeah, glad I played it. Glad it exists. And for those wondering out there, why can't I get it on my Xbox? Why can't I get it on my PS4 for free? Like, why isn't it available to more users?
I just love it on Vita or Switch. That'd be so cool.
It's specifically built for the computer, and that's all I'll say.
Yeah.
But yeah, aside from that, squeezed that in last night, and today, before I got here, finished Horizon Zero Dawn. Like the game for sure. Understand why people put it on their Game of the Year list, whether it's PS4 people or just RPG fans, whatever. And that's something else. In a year full of, I guess, blockbuster titles, that's something else that will possibly pop back up here in a couple weeks.
Oh, it definitely
especially
will.
If Kellen's alive and well, because I know that man loves this game. And that, for the most part, was it.
I'm curious about the lists this year, because I've been playing things close to the chest. I haven't been like, this is the best thing, blah, blah, blah. I've been trying to tame it back, so that's a little more fun when we get to it. And there's some stuff I still need to actually jump into.
Yeah.
But I'm very interested to see everybody's kind of top three ideas and how we go about that. I think I've said it before, but I usually do a top 5. I am not doing a top 5. I'm doing at least a top 10.
And I know at least
we'll get there when we get
I
there,
spin off and do my
you do
categories.
You do a
and
real
stuff like
weird
that.
thing, but it's okay.
I mean, not just the method, but I mean, just like I do a bunch of categories and movies and stuff like that too, where just kind of get the whole year. I don't know. It's like a time capsule sort of thing.
Sure.
And this year's got a lot.
Yeah, this year's been really good.
Just entertainment wise, it's got a lot. So we shall see.
For me, I've been playing Tekken 7. Been practicing that. I feel like I am good at Tekken now. Like, I feel like I got it.
There you go.
I understand. You know, I'm not great, but like, I can go into a ranked match and I feel that I can win. I don't just feel like I'm going to get beat up on, you know? And when I'm losing, I feel like I can turn it around. So that's exciting. I've been playing the tournament modes on that, which I really like, except for the fact that there's no like dedicated servers to it. So like, you'll get games that are super laggy and you lose.
You're at other people's mercy
of lag, which is really annoying. Like, I hate that aspect of it, but the tournament thing is awesome.
Yeah.
That you can just set up double elimination tournaments. Really, really cool. Played some of them, won some of them, finally got the Fire Kai, which you have to win 3 to get that.
Yeah.
Which was an item I really wanted. I finally got it and I put it on and I don't like it that much. But I got it. So
my main problem with the game is that I like my playtime or activity in the game does this.
Yeah.
So I'm usually pretty bad because I don't stick with it.
Yeah, mine does too, but I've been at least practicing with it, so, and trying to learn new stuff. Been playing more Pokemon Go. Gen 3 dropped. Really like Gen 3. Might be my favorite gen of Pokemon, to be dead honest. Which is crazy because as somebody who doesn't play Pokemon games, I only know Gen 1 from the cards, and that's it, and I'm done. I know Sun and Moon stuff, I guess. But I really like all the designs I've seen, except for that shivering triangle. That thing's really dumb. I don't know its name. It's a triangle, it shivers. It's dumb.
Shuppet or something like that?
No, that's a hat.
Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong one.
That's a witch hat. It does begin with an S, though. Anyway, I don't like
it.
But I've been collecting those Pokemon, having fun with that. They have the weather system where if it's raining, like, there's more bug Pokemon and things like that. So
They're starting to blend more into the actual
that gives
games.
me the incentive. Oh, it's really cold out. Let me go try to find this ice Pokemon. It's cloudy. That means there's more fairy Pokemon.
Yeah.
Let me go try and find the whatever her name is, the Ralts or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like that. I enjoy that a lot. So I've been playing Pokemon Go again. Fortnite, been playing a lot of that multiplayer. Yeah. I don't know where my time's gone multiplayer. I don't play much multiplayer, but this year I played a lot, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I want to say I have 21 hours in duos for Fortnite.
Dang.
21 hours, all me and my niece.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the only person I've ever played the game with. I'm proud to announce that 2 days ago we got our first win.
There you go.
We are not very good at the game.
Stellar achievement.
We have a lot of fun with the game, kind of messing around and stuff, but we actually won a game, and we were both alive at the end, too. So...
Who won? Well, no, it's duo, so you just
we're
win.
on a team.
Okay.
Yeah, and we won our first game. Like, I've won solo games, and I've won squad games where you have 4 people, but I only play duos with her, and we have never won, and we won for the first time. It was a big moment.
It should make you face off against each other.
At the end.
Like, hey, you won.
To be fair, we face off. Sometimes I just spawn camp. Like, you can kill them and then revive them, and kill them and revive them. We do that stuff, so.
Makes sense.
Also, I was playing solo the other day, and I got duoed, which was not cool, and I had to report some players for working together in solo.
Oh,
it was not cool. Anyway, been playing Hellblade. So this is one I'm like 1/3 through, I'm gonna say. I'm enjoying it. The game is very pretty. More than the prettiness, I really like the animations of Senua. Like her fighting animation and everything is really awesome. The world's beautiful. The game is a little bit museum-y in like Order 1886, where it's a lot of look, don't touch stuff. Like, there's not a lot to actually interact with. You're kind of just walking around these pretty environments. But I need to put myself in the mindset that this is a smaller team. Like, they call themselves a AAA indie.
Yeah.
Like, this is a smaller team working on that. This is more to, Cuphead than, a big, like an Uncharted or anything like that.
To be fair, like, I feel like if it wasn't for loot boxes and games kind of mishandling the use of those, this whole AAA indie, like, gray area would probably be, like, what defines this year. Maybe the past couple of years. Current gen, at least.
Yeah, they kind of just fell out. They don't do those middle games. I actually wish bigger companies would just make smaller games for a little while and see how that goes. But anyway, been playing through that. I'm enjoying it. The story's cool because I don't know anything about Norse mythology at all.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm learning and prepping myself for God of War, which is neat. Also, I keep hearing...
Oh, don't worry. Norse mythology is really screwed up.
Is it?
It's really adult-themed and really screwed up.
I keep hearing all these names that I know from things like Thor. The Thor movies and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is neat. The game's combat, I agree. Kind of the big criticism to the game is that the combat feels kind of uninspired. It's sort of just there, and the game could survive without the combat. And I agree with that. But I agreed with that at least up until about 20 minutes to where I was, where combat started happening more out of the blue. Yeah. It really felt like you were walking into an arena, and like you could tell because there was no trees, there was no like things to hurdle over or anything. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get attacked in this room because it's a circle. Like, it's an arena. And then that kind of stopped happening, and they started blending it into the actual game more. I was like, okay, now I'm getting it. They don't teach you anything, which is really cool. The combat starts, and you'll just get slashed. And the voices in your head, you're wearing headphones, and they're all around you, which is awesome. The voices in your head are saying things like, defend yourself, use your sword. Like,
it's very much a headphone game.
They're telling you things that you can do, but not telling you how to do them, basically. And I actually think that is a really unique, interesting thing that this game can do that most other games cannot do.
It's not intrusive, basically, to like your screen and stuff like that.
Yeah, they do the behind you thing where you can parry behind you.
Yeah, that was so
cool.
Feels
so
when
cool.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really enjoying it. The combat's hard, actually. It's not simple. You have to be very
it's technical.
Yeah, it reminds me of For Honor with how you square off with people.
It's less stylish, as in like you're not soaring from the skies with a spear in your hand, but it's that same sort of technicality.
Yeah, you have heavy
timing
attack, light attack. Yeah. You have like a melee thing. You can do certain stuff that they don't tell you. Like if you run an attack, you'll do like a spin move and stuff like that. And you can parry or just block to defend yourself. And if you time it right, you get like a slow motion, cool, beat 'em up for a few seconds. So I'm enjoying the game. I'm not in love with it. Yeah. I'm not like, oh, this is amazing. But this game is a walking simulator. Like, it's a walking simulator that has combat in it. And for me, when I play walking simulators, I cannot judge them at all until I beat them, because that's usually when okay, things fall into place. You know what I mean? That's how all of those games are, like your Firewatches and your Edith Finches and stuff. Like, that's how that works.
Well, it's more about the journey, too, so you don't get the full picture till it's over, sort of thing.
So, excited to beat it. I'll probably have it beat in a day or so. Next week I'll be ready to talk about it. But yeah, enjoyed it. Might pop up in my Game of the Year stuff. Got to finish it and see how I feel. Other than that, been playing Fire Emblem Warriors. Now, this is one you lent me.
Yeah.
I just kind of wanted to check it out because I like Hyrule Warriors. And I've been playing it, and I'm enjoying it quite a lot. Not as much as Hyrule Warriors, and I have reasons, but I've been enjoying this game quite a bit. It is your typical, you beat up 1,000 guys in a match type thing. They do have the command part, which I like a lot. You can go into your menu and be like, hey, this person, go attack this base. This person, go defend this base.
That's where I was saying before, if you remember, it feels a lot closer to like a 50-50 divide than a lot of these types of games, because that is very Fire Emblem. It is very strategic, and you do this, I do this, sort of thing. So
I enjoy that quite a lot. You can swap your characters on the fly, which I don't think you could do in the other one, and that is just nice. I wish that the other one had that for sure.
Well, especially because you can say, hey, go take this castle, you go take this castle, you go take this one, you go defend this area, and then if, oh no, we're getting overrun, then you can switch to the guy, fend it off, and then, whatever, so.
I will say sometimes they're just like standing there. They're like waiting for your orders. I'm gonna go do anything. Like, I'm busy right now. Go do literally anything. Don't just stand there. But I wrote down some things. I really like this game portable. I actually think this might be the first game that I enjoy more portable than on the TV, because it is kind of mindless and it doesn't require your attention 100%. So it's a really great portable thing.
I feel like you have to play it on the big screen first, because obviously like the little buttons and stuff on the screen, you can't quite read them that easily. But if you already know what to do,
so I played it portable first. But I enjoy portable. I don't want to say I enjoy it.
I feel like you've
more.
done a handful of these types of games already, though. So
I don't want to say I enjoyed it more portable, but I definitely think that of the games that I've played, this is my favorite portable experience. So that's cool. And it might just be because the D-pad's not a big deal in it. Like, of the games that I play, this one kind of doesn't use the D. Like, I can't play Tetris. Like, that's not going to work. Tetris is the one that seems like it would be the best portable, and then you have to use an analog stick. It's like, this is horrible.
Well, and you get a lot of breaks in this game as far as, like, you hit a super, okay, I can watch this animation, breathe for a second, and then get back to it.
That's very true. Yeah. So I've been enjoying that. Just to compare it a little bit to Hyrule, which I like better, to me, it has a lot to do with, one, in Hyrule, you get like an inventory system, just like a Zelda game. So you have a hookshot and bombs and bow and arrow and a boomerang, and certain enemies require you to switch to certain items and defeat them with that. And I liked that aspect of it. And then, besides liking the main character way more, which was Lana, she was like the character that they made for Hyrule Warriors. This one has the twins that I can't remember their name. The twins are okay, but I really liked Lana. In addition to just liking her character more, it feels a little bit like Smash Brothers to me, where Fire Emblem's characters are in Smash very similar on the screen. They're like, they have a sword. They're all very
same
very
thing
similar.
as comparing like a Ryu to a Ken to an Akuma to something like that. Like they all have like the same base mold,
right? Whereas the thing that Hyrule Warriors did that I liked is they were characters that don't fight. It's like, what does this sword character do? What does Tinkle do? Like, what, you know what I mean? They had 50 characters. I don't know exactly. The wolf. They had all these characters, and they had to give them movesets. Like, Fi is a sword. How does that thing fight? And she ice skates everywhere. And does her moves like that. So I feel like they had a more creative, they had more creative freedom to make their characters and have them have these unique things, whereas the other ones, it's like, well, this person in the game has a sword and magic, so they're going to have sword and magic. You know what I mean? But other than that, I really
more
like
liberties, basically.
Yeah. I really like this game. I actually really want them to do a Hyrule Warriors collection on the Switch now. I think that it really does feel at home. So enjoy.
A little bit too might have to be with familiarity of the characters and stuff like that. Obviously, people like me have like a decade's worth of.
I mean, the music
here,
for sure. Like, I know all the Zelda music. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. In this, I only know one song, and it's the theme song. When it plays like when you use your R button, whatever
Yeah.
that power is called. I'm like, oh, I know this one. Other than that, I don't know any of the songs. Characters show up, and it seems like it's supposed to be a big reveal. Like, it starts at their feet, and the camera pans up, and I'm like, I don't know who you are, man.
Unless they were in Tokyo Mirage
Yeah.
or Smash. You probably
Correct.
don't know them.
Yeah, I was saying to you, I like the spin-off Fire Emblem stuff. I like this. I like Tokyo Mirage a lot, and I like Smash Brothers, but I wasn't a big fan of actual Fire Emblem. So.
Fair enough.
All right. Let's move into some news. There's not much news. Nothing's going on. It's the end of December.
Yeah.
Everybody's on break. So I feel like we're going to have this for 2 to 3 weeks, except for the beginning of last year where it was the first week and we're like, Scalebound's canceled.
I do remember one prediction for this year now.
So anyway, we just have some news, but let's bring up the real news, the breaking news, the news I was most excited for, and I'm actually a little upset that the podcast went live like the day this got announced.
Yeah.
But it's okay because now we've gotten trailers and stuff. Catherine Full Body, that's just what it's called. It's not called Edition, which bothers me. Is coming to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita. So we
Still
have,
not dead, baby.
Yeah, Vita lives. So we're getting 2 Personas and a Catherine.
Yeah.
Presumably next year for the Vita. So that's super excited for me.
Japan is getting 2% a Catherine.
That might also be true. So this is really exciting. They announced that this is going to be more of a remake, and it seems like it's just using the same engine. It's reusing some cutscenes and dialogue and all that stuff, but they are adding a whole nother story arc with another Catherine known as Rin, and we're going to get to her in a moment. But first, the game is apparently coming out winter 2018.
Yeah.
At least in Japan, and it is coming to the West.
And they
confirmed.
They take winter to be very, like, I guess they take it very liberally, so it'll be December.
It is confirmed coming to the West.
Yeah.
So that has been announced as well. They added online multiplayer to the game, which is awesome because Catherine multiplayer has always been this like weird thing that it's like a side stage thing that people love. And they've embraced it. They made it cross-play with the Vita and the
and it shows up at the
PS4.
Evos and the stuff like that
Yeah.
with side tournaments. Yeah.
And they showed a trailer of this, and it has new blocks in it, so I assume that the multiplayer is going to be shaken up quite a bit too. Basically, the idea of the game is you can think of it like a pyramid or a wall of blocks. You push and pull these blocks in to climb up to the next level, and it's a race to see who can pull and make stairs and get to the top before the other person, or kill the other person by like pushing blocks out from underneath them is also a valid strategy. That happens way more when I play the game. I fall a lot. So we're getting that. There's new music. They've done new anime cutscenes. So this is a Golden. This is Persona 4
like
Golden. This is Catherine Golden.
We've talked about off screen at least is that Atlas does not just like click, copy, paste.
Yeah. Improve graphics done. They don't do that.
They really like to have like a, I don't know, not remaster. It's almost like re-inspired to add in something like they look at their own games and go, okay, this was good. Catherine was at least in some form or fashion a success, whether it was word of mouth or critical reception. That's for all their games as of late. But they look at it and go, where could we add something? And it doesn't. These games never feel, at least so far with the 3 or 4 examples that we've already gotten, they don't ever feel like it's just sort of tacked on.
Right.
It almost feels like I can't go back and play the original now because like this changes everything. Persona 4, I've gone back and at least looked at that, and you don't have a certain character without Golden there.
Voices are different.
That too. It changes so much, and maybe it was something we'll never know probably, but maybe it was something that was kind of cut on the game floor. While you're making the game,
I think it's possible.
hitting schedules and stuff like that. Maybe it's something an idea that was kind of out there, and no, we'll include it in a later edition sort of thing. So you can kind of think about those too. But yeah, it's cool that they actually put in effort and not just like, hey, did you want to play that 1990 game in 4K? Like, no, not really. I
very rarely am I this excited about announcements. Like even Mega Man 11, I was excited about Mega Man 11, but I wasn't as excited as this.
Yeah.
I've been wanting them to remake Catherine.
Yeah.
It is the perfect candidate to get remade. Adding the online multiplayer was something I didn't even think about. I just wanted more multiplayer maps and like maybe more like set up a best out of 7 mode instead of having to go to the menus after each match, things like that. But this is awesome. It seems like
feels like with this game and the Personas as well that they've done it to so far that they didn't need a sequel quite yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know Catherine's story, but it didn't feel coming from you or for anyone else that I would have rather have had Catherine 2. You know,
right.
Sort of
so
thing.
this is the way that the game is set up, and the only thing that I don't like that they did, and it's in the name again. When Catherine starts, it starts out and there's a lady. And there's a TV next to her, and it's almost like what are those? Is it like Twilight Zone? No. Anyway, it's part of a show.
Yeah.
She's like, we're gonna tune into this episode about this man who has these relationship issues.
Yeah.
Let's see, and it zooms into the TV, and you like play the game.
Going to the TV world?
Yeah, it's called the Golden Playhouse. That's the TV channel basically. And I wish this was called Catherine Golden Playhouse. That way they could make another weird, totally different story under the Golden Playhouse name and just have Golden Playhouse be a series for their like spin-off games that they can do whatever they want with.
Yeah.
As long as they have that TV intro. But yeah, it's similar to anything where every episode is completely different, you know. So even like Goosebumps is like that. Every episode is just a completely different story with different people. That's what this was, and that's why I wish it was called Catherine Golden Playhouse. That way we could start the Golden Playhouse series, as it were.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got to talk about it. Let's talk about Rin.
Okay.
So Rin is the new Catherine character. She's got pink hair, and she plays piano. I think that's about all we know, like, personality-wise about her. They teased her with a couple photos and things. But one photo that they kept posting, which was strange to people, was a picture of her kind of, like, lifting up her dress. And then it kind of cut off at her waist.
Well, when I saw it, too, it was in the trailer that they showed.
Yeah, the trailer came later.
Is at the very end. Yeah, so that might have sparked it, and then there was the trailer
was the beginning of the
at
debate.
the end where she is just standing there fully exposed. You don't see anything, obviously, because of good camera selection, but proper techniques. But I guess this all kind of stemmed from him having like a big shock on his face when basically
which he did with all the characters in the game.
But yeah, apparently this incited some opinions. Some unsubstantiated.
So the camera angle was basically behind Vincent. Vincent's freaking out.
Yeah.
Behind Vincent, and you can see that this new character, Rin, isn't wearing clothes.
Yeah.
And he's looking directly at the crotch, and he makes a scared face.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to put it. So I don't want to say agreed upon, because I'm not sure, but the thing that people seem to think
the
is that
knee-jerk reaction to it was...
Sure, that we have a transgendered...
Yeah.
Catherine character in Rin, and there's basically 3 ways that this can go. 1, I don't want that in the game. Go away, whatever.
Sure.
2, I don't want this to be a joke, which is what I think a lot of the knee-jerk reaction was to, because Atlas does make a lot of jokes in those situations, and most of them funny.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not even Atlas. It might just be a cultural thing, too. It's
right. But... if the next thing is, they're playing it for a joke, which I'll say, I don't think they would do that in that situation for other reasons. And 2, if they were to do that, I don't think they would show that. They wouldn't show the punchline to the joke.
Yeah.
You know, they wouldn't be like, and it's a transgender person. That's the joke. And it's like, well, you ruined it because you showed the trailer. So I actually wouldn't be surprised if she's a robot. Or she's asexual. Like, this game is weird. Like, the game gets very, very weird. You're a sheep man going into dreams, climbing Rapunzel's tower.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a normal game, you know? So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if she's a robot and she just doesn't have genitals, and that's kind of it. I also wouldn't be surprised if she is actually transgendered and that's just part of the story.
Yeah.
And that plays into the story, because that would kind of be an interesting thing for Vincent to, you know, maybe he really likes her and she's transgendered, and then you have the other Catherine.
Yeah.
And then you have, you know, your loyal Catherine that you were with. So I think that it's interesting almost any route that you go. So I can't wait. I'm gonna platinum it, so I'll say but I'm probably going to play it the way I played Catherine the first time, which is pick the choices that pertain to me, see where I end up. I ended up alone when I first did that, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited for this.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, scaling way back from Atlas, Catherine, video games, like it's hard to, like there's a reason there's marketing and stuff like that. Same thing if people, just for a different context, wanted to talk about the Last Jedi trailer and stuff like that when it hit and then the finished material that we got. It's obviously stuff like that is meant to be a red herring. Like you said, they wouldn't give away the punchline or the shining moment to the game. Persona 4 Golden, they didn't give away too much about like who this new person was. It's just kind of a new thing. They wouldn't do that.
I don't think they would.
It hurts them way more than it helps them.
Like I said, and if it is a transgender character, it's going to be similar to how they did, like, I feel like it's going to be like Persona 4, where they root it into the character and they actually write a story around it that's good.
They don't have a track record. I mean, this isn't like a comedy.
Disagree with this.
Well, I was going to say, this isn't like a Comedy Central, like South Park sort of thing. They don't have the track record of just doing this just for attention.
For attention, I'll agree.
Yeah,
they definitely have done it,
I know they've kind of fumbled in some people's eyes and stuff like that, or maybe just not given it the amount of care that some of these subjects might deserve. But they also don't do this to be like, hey, look at us, guys. We're poking fun at like a hot topic sort of thing.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. They definitely don't do it to get a rise out of people. They do it. I mean, they put them in as punchline, like as joke things, and I think that they work really well in every case that I've actually seen them do them. But they've also had characters in P4, like I was talking about, that had really well done, fleshed out stories that tiptoed on that line. So I'm interested to see if this is a story that like embraces it. That's awesome. If this is a robot, that's awesome. If it's a punchline, you ruin the joke.
For those of you who have never played a Japanese title or watched Japanese media, androgynous characters are not a new thing. To 2017, 2018.
Sometimes they're the best character.
They do really well a lot of times with it. So
like I said,
that's what I would bank on.
Super excited.
Track record for that sort of stuff, like culture-wise.
I'm not worried about it.
Just common sense, I think.
I think people are overreacting, especially to something that we don't even know yet.
Yeah. It's rough.
When we know, we'll see, but we won't know
at least a year
until
out.
Next year.
And even then, unless you know Japanese, you won't really know what's going on, so you won't know if it's a joke or not.
That's also very true. Yeah. Next year looking pretty great already for me, at least.
For Japan,
assuming we get the game. I mean, I imported 4 Dancing from Japan just because you don't, like, if you don't play the story, if you're just doing the dancing stuff, and this one apparently doesn't have a story, I don't mind importing it and checking it out. At least one version of it, or if it gets a fancy edition, for sure. Because I got the Vita, the Persona 4 Vita, which is sweet. But
they are very good with their collectors, whatever editions
in Japan.
Yeah.
But I got Mega Man 11 coming out, which is exciting. I got this Catherine coming out. I got the Persona Dancing. So I'm looking to have a good year next year.
And by the time this goes live, not really to hijack this topic, but there will be more Persona Dancing news.
That is true.
On the 24th.
Yeah, in a day or two, it's coming out. So, all right. Now that we've talked about the stuff I care a lot about, let's move into some other quick things and get to our main topic. So, Killzone 2 and 3 servers are being taken down. This is, I put this on this list because I know you really like Killzone.
Especially 2.
Yes, I do too.
3 was good. 1 was good. Everything in between was fine.
2?
Well, no, then they have a spinoff.
Mercenary. I actually would rank it 2 as the best. Mercenary 3 1. But
Mercenaries just impressed me for what they did with it. But yeah, 2 was, I think, hands down the best.
Yeah, 2 is a really good shooter. All the mechanics are great. They didn't go too crazy. Like, I feel like 3 tried to be cute in some aspects with their like cutscenes and the best players are in the cutscenes and all this stuff. I'm like, okay. But 2 was the one that had the awesome 7 game mode where it just randomly picked game modes and swapped between them, and you need like on the fly you were playing VIP where you need to protect your guy, so you're in your base, and then it switches to capture the flag.
It wasn't like play a mode, get a few minutes off, and then switch. It's instantly deathmatch. So
there's
you're all
a 10-second
you rush
Countdown.
into each other's base, killing each other, and then, you know, maybe your team hit 50 right when they hit 49, so you're at each other's throats. Then all of a sudden,
You're
you
playing
respawn
Search and Destroy.
and something like
Yeah.
that. So it's really fast-paced, and a lot of these games, too, whether it's Modern Warfare or whatever, I feel like people get stuck in their own little playlist. I only want to play deathmatch, or screw that, I need objective, so I only play Battlefield, or, you know, something like that.
This is a really good compromise.
This makes you have to play everything.
Yeah, but not in an intrusive, like, now you got to play 40 minutes of destroy the bomb thing. Like, it
very quick
some of the
hitting.
matches could be really fast if
Yeah.
you're not prepared. Like, the one that I always comes to mind is the VIP one, where you get one person on your team, and if they die, you lose, and you have 1 minute to keep them alive. And if you're playing deathmatch and it ends, and you're in their base, and then it switches to that, your team better get back to your base, because you're going to be right where all them are.
Well, the
shooting
cool
at
thing
your
with
VIP.
it too, not only that, and just for like a good comparison, like if you only play deathmatch, like that's your main course sort of thing. Whereas this one is just like 7 little appetizers on a plate, and here you go,
And
you know,
here's your
pick from it.
deathmatch, yeah.
So in a deathmatch game where you might be playing to 50 or 100, this one's played to 25. Very quick hitting, rapid, and it felt like matches still took about 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But you got a lot more out of it, and it was a lot more sort of like MOBAs, how you stick to one idea, but every single game can be different, or every single match can be different. It's sort of more along those lines, where every single match wasn't just, oh, I got the rocket launcher and went on a 5-kill spree and we won.
Yeah.
Oh, I got the laser and we won, or, you know, something like that. This one's just all over the place. I was in their base. I was the VIP. Some teammates came rushing in, almost died, you know, whatever.
Yeah, and it's
stuff.
random. You don't know what's
And
coming next, which is
the cool
awesome.
thing was this is where they really beefed up their, it's hard to call it class-based because technically they are classes, but it wasn't gimmicky in a Team Fortress way. It wasn't like, you have to build turrets or you have to do this. It's just like very subtle, but some really cool features with, like, that was the first time I've seen a sniper where you just fully cloak.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So it had really...
I think you're cloaked until you shoot and then you flicker.
So it was some just really cool stuff like that. And like I said, they didn't shove it in your face. And it wasn't like, oh, the sniper's got funny lines and this guy's real serious.
Yeah,
like,
they
it's not
they all
character
act like
based.
they're part of the team.
It just
They're
you
not
just
like,
felt like assassins and stuff like that.
Yeah,
the
so
whole time.
they're if I remember, there's a sniper. There's like a scout character who is really quick and
Yeah.
could build turrets and things like that. There was a character who could cloak as the other team. This just sounds like I'm describing Team Fortress. Who could cloak as the other team member, and you had to put your crosshairs on them and then like reveal them. There's the regular
it would be like
demolition
highlight
guy.
if it was like us and Kellen, like you like green, 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 and then that guy would be red. And it's like, wait a second.
Yeah, but yeah, they're not like all different designs. They are different, but they all look like they belong together. In the
it's
same
like the sniper's got
army
like
unit.
a trench coat sort of thing, or like a whatever, like an actual cloak on, and you know, and like I said, it's not goofy and stuff like Team Fortress where they're all characters, fun times, and it's not like Ghost Recon where the sniper's a big ghillie suit bushman and you know, the bomb expert isn't just like padded up and ready to go. But I really liked playing the healer in that game. That was my jam because you got points for healing, and I was consistently number 1 on my team just because I would pretty good at shooting games, at least back then. But I would also be like, kill, kill, kill. Hey, heal up. Kill, you know, whatever.
I have the platinum for Killzone 2, which is one of the hardest platinums you can get because they had that one trick where you had to be in the top 1% of players at the end of the month or the end of the week.
That was a really bad time for shooting game achievements and or whatever they're called, platinum, whatever.
Yeah, that's one of my like most
trophies.
coveted.
There we go.
Platinum though is getting that one, and
A
you'll never
lot of
be
games,
able to get it.
a lot of games rode that play 1,000 matches, and it was like, okay,
Yeah, it was insane. I have the Resistance 2 Platinum too, and that took forever. So they're going offline. I do want to say Killzone 2 probably the best multiplayer DLC maps I've ever seen. I'm not a big fan of DLC. We talked about that last week, but it had the train map where there's 2 moving trains, and like the tops of them you'd cross under signs and stuff, and if you didn't jump over, you got killed by the signs. It had the desert map that I thought was really cool, where it becomes like a sandstorm, and you just can't see what's happening at all for a little while unless you go indoors. Or actually, I think it kills you if you don't go indoors.
I think it's like it's not like instant kill, but it's like chipping away your health.
It definitely kills you if you don't go indoors.
Yeah.
But like they it felt like they made their maps, and then they're like, let's do some experiment maps and see how they go. And then they became like when Killzone 3 came out, like those maps you could play those maps.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. So I'm actually hoping we get a remaster collection for this. I think that would be awesome.
Sweet.
I want a Master Chief collection for Killzone, where it's like any level, any map like that. I think that would
just
be
as
awesome.
long as it works within 17 weeks of its launch, unlike Master Chief Collection.
Deal. Next up, really quick, Cuphead has appeared on iOS for $4.99, and it is a fake. Basically, there was email sent out that Cuphead was going to iOS. It was $5. You could download it. You could click it. It turns out to be a scam, though it was Cuphead. Like, you could play it, which is interesting. Developers had to come out and be like, there's no iOS version of Cuphead. Please don't do this. They made a whole website dedicated to this fake Cuphead version. So don't download that. It's gone now. But that is a scam, though I don't know what the scam exactly was because the game was there. So it wasn't really to take your money.
Yeah.
And I don't think they can get your info from that. I don't know. But
who knows?
It was not licensed, I guess is the best way to put it. Next up, Final Fantasy Dissidia Beta is going to be an open beta for PlayStation 4. And I am very interested in this. Because I want to try this game to see if I want it.
I think I'm in this because
It's open, so I hope so.
Well, I think I've been in this. Maybe they've had a private beta or something like that, because I've gotten like 5 emails this week about Dissidia. And here's your code. Go ahead and sign in and do this.
It starts today. So.
Yeah. So I don't know what's been up. Maybe I won something. But I feel like I'm supposed to have already been playing this. But I will play this because I still have it pre-ordered. The Fancy Steel book version. I'm excited about it. It's pretty cool. There's not many games like it. And even though I don't know 75% of the characters, I mean, I know of them because I stay relevant in video games, even though I don't play much Final Fantasy.
What's this chicken thing?
I don't know a lot of them, but the system seems cool enough, and I want to give it a shot for myself.
Yeah, I'm in the same...
And it comes out at a good time of the year to play this sort of game.
I'm kind of in the same boat where I really like the Final Fantasy characters because it has all my favorite ones that I want to play as. It even has Ace from Type 0, which is awesome. I love Type 0. But I don't... I look at the gameplay and I'm like, I don't know if I'd like that, but I also didn't think I'd like the Hyrule Warriors and the Fire Emblem Warriors, and I did. So
a different thing about it, and it's another one of those co-op makes it better sort of lines of thinking, too, is that you're all on a team. Like if you, me, Kellen, or Todd, or Craig, or whoever wanted to play, like we're all on the same team, but we're all doing our own thing. So maybe all 3 of us could just be like, screw that guy in the middle. We're gonna take him out. Like if Cloud's there, I want to kill Cloud. I don't care who I'm lined up against, sort of thing. I want to kill Cloud. So we could all just jump someone, have our own stupid tactics that would not work, and we'll lose.
That sounds like us.
But we can just be us and do our own thing, but we're all on the same team and all in the same like battle sort of thing. So that seems awesome to me, and that's what makes co-op seem super appealing.
Yeah, I'm excited. The dates are the 23rd to the 24th, the 30th to the 31st, and January 6th to the 7th. So those are just one-day dates, but I'd like to jump in. Dates aren't as important because by the time this goes live, like 2 of them.
Server connectivity, very important. So that's what I'm wanting to see out of it.
Let's move into some questions, and there's no releases this week because it is Christmas. So, let's start with some comments, and then we'll go into the actual question. Zach Yonder says, I'm surprised you aren't liking Cuphead because I really like it, especially the bosses. I felt really accomplished after beating a few of the bosses, but to each their own. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Cuphead. I don't know if you saw this the other week. It didn't jive with, like, it was fine. It didn't really jive with me, and I was commenting back to him, and I think I'm starting to figure it out a little bit more. At the end of Cuphead, when you beat, like, a boss, you get an A or an S or a B or whatever. But all the other bullet hells that I like the more arcadey games, you have a score constantly. And there's multipliers that you need to keep track of. And there's side objectives that you can do that give you an extra life or things like that. Cuphead doesn't have any of that. So, like, once you beat the phase once and then you die, you're just doing it again. Like, there's no... Like, you can try to get the A at the end, but you don't know if you're going to get the A. So,
well, it's not like, too, like, you get the premium blaster if you hit A, whereas B just gave you an extra life bar or something like that.
Yeah, I was trying to think about it because I'm like, man, like I like Contra. Like Contra's okay, but like I like Resogun a whole lot, and that's just a bullet hell, and that's way more like in line with what this is kind of doing. And I'm like, well, in Resogun, I try to save all the human things. As I got better, I started focusing on them because I knew I could do that and still take down the boss. Yeah. And then I tried to get the multiplier and get the human and take down the boss. Like there's these little self challenges to set. In Cuphead, I feel like it's just you take down the boss and try not to get hit. Like that's the whole thing. Like I guess you could try to parry more things, but like you just try to take down the boss and
there's
not get hit.
There's a lot of randomness too.
There is too much randomness.
Like it's not like a machine where it's like where you lose and then you learn. Something like Crash Bandicoot, where I feel like you learn and you eventually get better. This one's just...
Sometimes you'll get a pattern you've literally never seen in 15 fights. And it's like, oh, okay, he can throw swords now. That's cool. Like you just...
I don't know. I don't mind a little bit of randomness. Like, he could go into either stage B or stage C after I knock him down 25% or something. Like, I don't mind that kind of randomness. But when I do this, there needs to be like a clear pattern for me to really.
I
just
prefer
like love it.
It makes me feel way better when I'm like I could do this with my eyes shut type.
But
thing.
Because it feels like you're cracking the system or cracking the code and like you're learning and then you figure it out. So that's why I don't mind a little randomness from some bosses. But yeah, it's just like sometimes this platform won't even be here, sort of thing.
That was the only level I had trouble with. That whole game. Well, that's not true. There's two of them. There is the one with the cloud dragon. Yeah. And like the dragon's easy. It was the stupid like platforms. Yeah. The clouds. And then the bee, where the honeycombs are going up. I'm like, the platforming in this game just is not fun to me. and it's all random-based platforming. Sometimes you jump, and there's no platform.
Those were the worst parts of the game for me, was the platforming. I don't like platforming. And
I do like platforming, and it's the worst part of the game for me. So, anyway, we're going to get back to... oh, no. Okay, we'll do... So, Zach left a question about Nintendo. We're going to go over that. And he said that we could do our own research and stuff. Sure. I chose not to do that because I think that it's fair, the parameters that he set. He used Metacritic. Otherwise, we're going to get into where it's like, I like Mario 3, so I want that on the list. And I like Kid Icarus, so I want that on the list. Like, it makes it too difficult. Yeah. So I'm just going to read the question in full. Nintendo has had some pretty great first-party software, and 2017 could arguably be the best in recent history. I included the top 7 years of the 2000s that I determined by at least 5 quality games that year. I limited the selection to top 5 Metacritic-rated games of that year, excluding ports and remakes. I am limiting the choices to developed and published games. If you want me to include... Okay. So here is, of the 2000s, we're going to pick the best Nintendo game of our year, of the ones that he's given us. Do you want to start at the top or start at 2000?
Let's start at 2000 and work our way towards now.
And they're not every year. It's just the ones that he determined.
Yeah, because Nintendo's had some terrible years.
We have Banjo-Tooie, Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, Mario Tennis, Perfect Dark, Pokemon Gold and Silver.
Starting off hot.
2001, Super Smash Melee, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons and Ages, Mario Kart Super Circuit, and Paper Mario.
Not bad.
2003, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. It seems like they all have Zelda. Mario Kart Double Dash, F-Zero GX, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, Star Fox Adventures. 2007, a year that you like very much.
Oh, yeah.
Mario Galaxy, Metroid Prime 3, Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass, Pokemon Diamond Pearl, Super Paper Mario. 2013, Fire Emblem Awakening, Pokemon X and Y, Animal Crossing New Leaf, Super Mario 3D World, Legend of Zelda A Link Between Worlds. Holy crap. It's a really good year. Yeah. And for the 3DS specifically, that's an insane year. Those are... The 3D World, it was the Wii U one, right? 3D Land was the
I think you have it right.
But that's a crazy year. 2014, Bayonetta 2, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, Mario Kart 8, Super Smash Wii U /3DS. Note Bravely Default was published by Nintendo in America, but Square Enix published it in Japan, so he didn't know whether or not it should be on the list.
Okay, I'll take that into consideration.
And then 2017 has Breath of the Wild, ARMS, Splatoon 2, Mario Odyssey, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
ARMS, was that highly rated? I know it.
Well, it's
was
got to be
received well.
published and made by Nintendo.
Okay.
So it's not like they put out, 20 games a year. They put out like 6.
That's true.
Maybe.
That's true.
Like, otherwise it's what? Like Metroid Samus Returns? I don't know.
People like them some Metroid. A lot of years, I'd say there's a lot of like 50-50. There's some really good and some I didn't play.
So do we want to just pick our own favorite, or do we want to pick together? Like, what one we both think wins?
I mean, yeah, we should have a Press X.
The Press X 2004 word top 5 Metacritic Nintendo game.
I think.
Let me tell you how I feel.
Okay.
I feel like almost every year there's like 2 games that I'm like, yeah. And the other games are games people love, but I don't love. And I feel like that's a Nintendo
That's what I'm
thing.
saying. That I didn't word it right, but that's why I was saying 50-50. Like, yeah, okay, I'm with you. And then, like, I didn't play it. I didn't feel the need to play it.
Yeah.
Or I think it's overrated.
Like, to me,
or
I'm
there's
like,
better in the
ooh,
series.
Animal Crossing New Leaf. Oh my gosh, you know what I mean? But then I'm like, Fire Emblem Awakening. I don't care about Fire Emblem Awakening, but you love Fire Emblem
To be
Awakening.
fair, that's...
And probably don't like New Leaf very much, so...
Haven't played New Leaf, but I will say that Fire Emblem Awakening, properly named, like it kind of got Fire Emblem back in the game, sort of thing. Whereas some GameCube versions, some Wii version, stuff like that, it kind of trailed off. It wasn't like the marquee name, but now because of Awakening and its crossover into Smash and things of that nature. Now we're getting 2-3 Fire Emblem games a year, sort of thing. So that's why you're hearing and seeing it a lot more now, is because of Awakening. That relit the flame, I guess, for Fire Emblem. So that's why it probably deserves to have a little bit more recognition than at first appearance.
To me, the ones that I would eliminate are 2000. I think Banjo-Tooie, I liked Banjo 1 better, so...
That's fair.
Majora's Mask is really good. Obviously, the best one on there. Mario Tennis, I've never been hot on. Perfect Dark's good. And then the Pokemons, I'm never going to be hot on either. That's like the first one that I see, and I'm like, I can eliminate that.
Well, that's a 50-50 for me. I don't like Majora's Mask as much. I think it's a bit more boring compared to most Zelda games, if I'm being just completely subjective. But Perfect Dark, still better than James Bond 007.
Wow.
Just
They're
actually
both not
better.
really good games.
Oh,
so.
not now, no. Gold and Silver, pretty good, but there's some better Pokemon games on this list. I don't know. I'd scratch off 2000.
Okay. That's my first easy elimination too.
That was right off the bat. That was a 50-50 where I was like, huh? Sort of thing. Like, I was wanting more, and then you said the full list, and I was like, okay.
Next one that I would eliminate, and some people would hate me for, Wind Waker, Mario Kart Double Dash, F-Zero GX, Mario Golf, once again, is on this, and Star Fox Adventures, which is not a great Star Fox game. Well,
what is Toadstool Tour? Is that the Mario Golf, or is that
that's the GameCube Mario Golf. These are all GameCube.
I would scratch it off.
I love Double Dash. Double Dash is one of the best Mario Karts, but
Wind
Waker,
Waker,
stronger stuff on there.
That's a Zelda game.
You like Wind Waker?
Wind Waker's great.
I wasn't a big fan of Wind Waker.
Double Dash, okay, I'm on board. F-Zero GX, not bad. Mario Golf, don't like that one. Star Fox Adventures, nah. Miss me with those last two.
Okay,
so we can cross it off.
Do any of them have 3 games?
I think there's more well-rounded years. That's a pretty good year, though.
So now it gets tricky to me. So 01, Smash Melee, Conker's Bad Fur Day, which is actually really good. Legend of Zelda, Oracle Seasons and Ages are both good. Mario Kart Super Circuit's kind of whatever, and Paper Mario's kind of whatever to me. Man.
For me, this is one of the easier ones to cross off.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Don't care about that Zelda game. Don't care about Paper Mario. Don't care about that Mario Kart. What else was there? Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Conker.
I like me some Smash and Conker. Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Every year there's 2 that I'm like,
Yeah.
Nintendo.
2001, I was a teenager. I'll say that much. That game felt liberating to play. It was just like it feels like that's one of your first like I'm getting away with something here, sort of like San Andreas had the hot coffee thing. It's like I think I'm getting away with something I shouldn't be playing.
All right, so let's theoretically take that one out.
Okay.
Then we have the 07.
Okay.
Galaxy, Prime 3, Phantom Hourglass, Diamond Pearl, and Super Paper Mario.
Once again, don't care about Super Paper Mario.
I agree.
Miss me with that whole franchise or that leg of it. Mario Galaxy, okay. I can see that. Metroid,
I agree. There's a better Mario. In 2017.
Super Mario Galaxy, okay. I'm on board.
There's a better Zelda in 2017 too.
Metroid Prime, I think there's better Metroids, especially Metroid Primes.
In 2017.
That Phantom Hourglass, like I don't know anything about that Zelda. I am completely in the dark about it. I don't like Paper Mario.
Takes place in the Wind Waker world.
Is it?
Yeah, but it's like the portable one.
Oh. Portable Zelda. Who wants to do that? I don't know. I think it's another 50-50. Diamond and Pearl was sort of like, I don't want to compare it to the Fire Emblem Awakening because Pokemon's never really dipped, I guess, that I know of. But Diamond and Pearl, that was like the Lucario generation. That was like where things started to branch out a little bit. You got a lot more double, like for him fighting in steel, like you got a lot more. And Palkia and Dialga, you might have seen those legendaries. They were pretty big. That's when the movies started ramping up. And like as far as like exposure, I felt like it started branching out at that point. So that was a good Pokemon game. Paper Mario, Zelda, whatever. What was the other two? Metroid Prime, there's better. Super Mario Galaxy, okay. So I don't know. That one's a little closer.
To me, that one's good, but I'm reading these other ones, and I don't think.
Yeah, we'll keep it on there for now, and then for each one of those, we'll say how does this compare.
2013. This one's rough because it's like all 3DS games, but they are really good. So Awakening, which is a hit for you.
Yeah.
X and Y,
good. Really good. Like that was the game where I don't want to say at any point that these Pokemon series took a dip, but this is one of the times that they kind of went off the beaten path. This was more like a French. Each area, like obviously with the most recent one with Sun and Moon, they did like Hawaii themed. This game was French themed, and they did a lot. They took a lot more liberties in the gameplay that they didn't normally do with the older games. This was the first one too, where 3D became more of a thing, so different angles and different view. It wasn't just like here's your square on the screen and you're the dot moving around doing the things. This was a little bit more cinematic, so kind of opened up a little bit. And you can continue with the list.
Animal Crossing New Leaf, which is a hit for me. Super Mario 3D World, which a lot of people swear by that game. I think it's fine Super Mario. Oh, no. Sorry, 3D World. I'm thinking 3D Land. I don't like 3D World.
Okay.
I take it all back. I don't like 3D World. And then Link Between Worlds, I think, is the second best Zelda we've had in a long time.
Okay.
So I think that year is just straight up better than 07.
Yeah, I mean, the misses for me are games I didn't play, for the most part. I know enough about A Link Between Worlds.
Game's really cool.
But with that Mario and with that, yeah, I would say, so now we have two, at least that we're keeping around. Which would you say is better, 13 or 7?
I don't think it's close. It's all on 3DS, which kind of sucks, I guess, except for that Wii U game. But
So kill off 7. Okay. Now we're down to 3.
We're moving to 2014.
I think that's the fairest way to do it is like, okay, we keep one, then the next one. Okay, we keep this. How does it like
it needs to
just
win
off each other. Yeah.
So 2014, Bayonetta 2, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, Mario Kart 8, Super Smash Wii U.
That's it doesn't have as many games on that list as the other years, but man, Bayonetta 2
is fantastic. I didn't like Captain Toad. I'm not a big Donkey Kong guy. Mario Kart 8 is phenomenal, but I really only think it's phenomenal when it hits the Switch.
Well, yeah, I was going to say Deluxe is the great version.
And then that Smash is the best Smash.
That has the most people of all Smash games. So, I mean...
Jeez. These are hard.
Bayonetta 2 is really good for me as well. Captain
agree.
Toad out of what is that? Donkey Kong Country. There are way better Donkey Kong games.
I'm actually surprised. I feel like this is one of the years where if I went and picked the list, I think this year would win.
Yeah.
But I didn't, so.
I think there's way better Donkey Kong games. Mario Kart 8, I agree, was not great until Deluxe hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really think
I
Deluxe
got real
fixed a
mad
lot
at
of
that
problems.
game because I'm more like, I'm doing well, I should win, sort of thing. But I kind of lose that when I go into Mario Kart. I don't want to be in first place in laps 1 and 2. I want to be about like fourth because you're at the tail end of getting like the red shells, maybe a star if like the stars align. Maybe you get that blue shell that whizzes past you, you're in first, good to go. But this one was just like, if you ain't first, you're last. This
And then
the
in
Ricky
Deluxe
Bobby.
is the opposite.
Yeah.
If you're in fourth in Deluxe, you're just never going to get to first.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
So, yeah, it's just real weird. I think Deluxe made it a good game, at least compared to the other Mario Karts. So, that one definitely beats 13. I'll say that. I say keep this in contention, and then, like I said, we got to go to the last choice that we kept around, 13. I think it beats 13.
You think 14 beats 13?
Yeah.
I think 13 beats 14.
Okay, what beats what then?
I think Bayonetta, out of all of these,
Okay.
Bayonetta is probably the best game out of the whole thing. That being said, I will take any of these games over Toad. I will take any of these games over Donkey Kong.
That Donkey Kong, yeah.
Mario Kart, I would probably I'd rather have Mario Kart than Pokemon, and probably Fire Emblem, but it's just because I don't like those series. And then I think Smash is better than most of these, except for New Leaf, and I think it's close to Link Between Worlds, honestly. But I just feel like Bayonetta is like up here,
Yeah.
and then the rest of it's kind of here, and these are all kind of right above.
What I will say, okay, I'm starting to lean more in your favor then. Bayonetta 2, it was good. It just didn't get a lot of exposure because of what it was on. So it was a very limited experience as far as what you could talk to other people about. The other thing, too, is that Smash Brothers didn't really do anything new. It had a lot of customization, had a lot of characters.
Oh, yeah.
And then, started bringing in from different franchises that you didn't really expect. Sort of like when we talked about having Snake in, I think it was our Wii list that we were talking about that Smash, incorporating people that was like, huh, really? How'd you get him? This game did a lot of that. And who knows if it's going to get ported to Switch, sort of thing. So I don't even know if the game's dead or not. But, it just didn't really do anything new. And like you heard me say with Awakening, like you sort of heard me say about X and Y. I don't know about A Link Between Worlds and stuff like that. Like they tried something new.
Yeah, A Link Between Worlds was the first Zelda since Zelda 1, maybe, that was like, hey, you can literally, the game starts, you can get the items and go to any dungeon and beat them in any order. Like it did that. It did the Breath of the Wild thing before Breath of the Wild, technically. It was just a top-down.
So now that we're really getting into the thick of it, I'd say let's put 13 ahead of that just because.
I agree.
I'd say the game caliber is about the same. And like I said, when you just read the initial list, 2014 doesn't have as many games. But as far as like what they did, I guess I've
never been a fan of Captain Toad. I don't know why people like him so much. In fact,
I don't even know who it
is. Captain Toad in 3D World. That's where it started. Like he has levels in 3D World. So, all right. So 2013 versus 2017, the finals.
Okay.
As we like to say, we're gonna disagree on this and have to just call it. I feel like, but 2017 has Breath of the Wild, ARMS, Splatoon 2, Mario Odyssey, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Xenoblade 2. Fighting in my corner. So what do you think? What do you think is the best?
I think 2017 kills it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, impressive.
As biased as I am against most of the Nintendo franchises, I understand that people like Breath of the Wild more than
The Link
Between Worlds. I understand that people like Mario
ARMS
Odyssey.
is a real bad spot on that. I
love ARMS.
I'd much rather.
And I think
swap
someone
that
who's going to be here soon, maybe not on the podcast, but someone who's showing up not too long from now, also loves ARMS. But No, I think like if you want to talk about fighting, this 2017 Zelda beats 2013 Zelda. This
Sure,
2017 Mario appears
destroys
to have beaten 2013's. You get a cool fighting game.
Nope.
A cool idea.
You get Splatoon 2, which I love.
Splatoon, so a cool shooter game, and then a cool JRPG experience. So I think the years, like, I mean, look at it. Like, you have the Zelda game, so it's open world sandbox. Galaxy, or Odyssey, I keep mixing up their names. Odyssey, which is, you know, it seems like a nice little callback to some of people's favorite 3D games from Mario. ARMS, fighting game. Splatoon, shooter. Xenoblade Chronicles, JRPG, Final Fantasy-like experience.
Yeah, I agree. 2017 wins.
Yeah.
So that's
I think
the
it's
victor.
a landslide.
But I don't actually think it's a landslide. I really do think with New Leaf and Link Between Worlds, and I'm sure Pokemon X and Y are at least Pokemon games. Like, we didn't get a Pokemon game. We got Ultra Sun and Moon, I guess, but it's not on the list, so we didn't get a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I do think it's a little bit closer, but I would give it to heavily on the back of Splatoon, Mario, and Zelda. I love Splatoon. I've got problems with it, but I love Splatoon. So that's our choice. 2017.
2017.
Best year for Nintendo.
Easy.
Past 2000 with top 5 Metacritic.
Mostly because of Xenoblade.
Mario. The backs of these things are worthless. They're really hard to tell what they are from far away. Yours
Tell me about it.
Literally just a blank screen. All right, so thank you, Zach Yonder, for the question. Now we're going to move into Christmas memories, opening gifts, gaming-related things. Do you have any solid memories that somewhat, in any way, relate to Christmas that have to do with gaming?
Yeah, so I went back through it after you had already asked, and a little bit during this episode too, just to confirm, because at least me growing up, a lot of systems were like delayed as far as like an NA release, whatever. And I'm old enough to where a lot of launches happened in my time. So I went back and remembered that not only did it seem like a lot of systems tend to come out at I'd say like end of September is about as early as new systems typically come out until things got switched up. But that seems to be about the release date. But also because of when at least this handful of systems that I'm going to mention came out, I wasn't exactly like full-time working, paying for my own stuff. I was a little baby. So Christmas, it doesn't hurt, I guess, when you're a kid and you got to wait for those 2 or 3 months. Much different than now where it's like, I got to play it
I
now.
didn't even know systems came out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh, it was on TV or it was in a magazine.
Yeah.
I want that. And it might have come out 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a lot too when like you'd go to like the Best Buys and the Walmarts and you'd play the thing and be like, oh, this thing's cool, I want one.
Yeah.
And it's already been out for like 3 years. So I wrote down some dates. My parents luckily introduced me to games at an early age. I'm an only child. That was a good way in my youth and maybe up to now, we'll see, for me to pass the time. It became a hobby at a really early age, and at least if your game's not named original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Battletoads and stuff like that and Double Dragon, it was pretty easy to play when you were a kid on some of the older systems. So I know in 1992, I was given, I think it was half given, my dad got a Nintendo, original Nintendo, and I got to play with it sort of thing. I was really young at that point, so I couldn't really appreciate it too much. So I think it was sort of a half gift. Following year, 93, is when I got a Super Nintendo. That one was mine. Year later, I could understand things a little more, a little bit older, obviously just a year older. 95,
You went real deep with this.
Well, I mean, I had to remember.
Stories.
Yeah. 95, I got the PlayStation at launch. Well, months after launch, but launch year, I guess. And that is when my eyes were open to the Crash Bandicoots of the worlds, to, I mean, obviously it took a while for these games to come out, but the Gexes, the Spyro, those sorts of games. And that's when it branched off from, just running across the screen and doing the little boops and fireballs and whatever else to like, oh, these games like have range now. And let's see, 95, I would have been about 7 or 8. So that's when I could like understand stories and like put together beginnings, ends, characters, understand stuff. So it was a really good time. Dreamcast came out in 99. I was all about some Dreamcast. I grew up. I grew up in the arcades for the most part, not actually in the arcades, but I grew up going to arcades a lot.
You going home, kid?
So
nah, just stand here.
So for those who haven't experienced the awesome console of the Dreamcast, a lot of its games were, for the most part, arcade ports. Most of it's good fighting games and stuff like that. You should be able to find them in classic arcades if those still exist. But got that upon launch, and just my life changed. That was my best time ever, was getting that. And I think we've all at least seen or heard of like the kid opening up the, what was it, a Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
Or
N64
at Christmas. Seen all that. Yeah, I mean, I won't say that was me by any stretch of the imagination, but I was pretty stoked.
I will say my dad has recorded like every Christmas thing that we did, and I really want to find all the old footage and just watch my reactions to opening some of these things, because I'm sure they're hilarious and just very excited.
But
wish I could find those.
Obviously, when a lot of these hit, Nintendo, I was 4, Super Nintendo, I was 5, PlayStation, I was 7, Dreamcast, I was 11. Like, I didn't think too much about what are these parents up to, sort of thing. It took me by surprise. And like you kind of mentioned too, we weren't looking at Reddit articles and YouTube every day and whatever else, and we didn't know, oh man, 3 more months, what can we expect?
Like, oh, I got Electronic Gaming Monthly. Yeah. Oh, Grand Theft Auto's out. Yeah. I want that. You can't have okay.
And then my last one was PS2 at the turn of the year, Y2K, I guess if you want to call it that. And since then, I mean, I'm sure I've gotten a few more systems and stuff like that, but after about that point is when I could afford my own stuff, so it wasn't a surprise anymore. And obviously since then, if it comes out, I'll just buy it for myself, sort of thing. But that was probably around I was 12, 13 at that point. So that was towards the end. That's when Christmas stopped being fun, close to it at least. And you're like, oh my god, PS2, this is great. So that was about the last one. So I had NES, SNES, PS1, PS2, Dreamcast. So, and I know I always got them at Christmas, sort of thing. So it's just easier that way.
Real deep. All right, so I think I told this story last year for Christmas, if I remember. So I'm just going to recap it and then do 2 new stories. One was the Wii. Yeah. I wanted a Wii very badly after not really wanting one and not jumping on the pre-order boat or anything, and then going, oh, now I want one, and they're impossible to get. And probably the reason I want one is because they're impossible to get. Mm-hmm. And my sister-in-law's Christmas gift to me was to wait in line with me to get a Wii in New Jersey at 7 p.m. until 11 a.m. the next day in the snow. To get this Wii, like waiting in line. Now she's like, my gift to you is going to be I will take you there. We'll wait in line and we'll get the Wii. And then like the Wii was the gift from my parents. So that was a fun story. I think I told that whole story. There was a whole thing. My sister gave us food because we didn't realize there'd be so many people and we had to get out so early. And like they got pulled over by a cop. It was a whole thing. I think I told it last year. If I didn't, maybe I'll tell it next year. Next up, my Dreamcast, console that I absolutely hate. I have 3 games for, but it's the only console I've ever gotten and I've been disappointed by. And I remember my brother gave me Soul Reaver for the Dreamcast, which is a Dreamcast game I have a lot of fondness of because I got it from my brother, and he gave it to me, I believe, Christmas Eve. And I was like, man, I don't know how to break this to you. I don't have a Dreamcast. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, maybe you'll get one day. And I was like, maybe. And then on Christmas, I opened a Dreamcast. And I was like, oh, awesome. So I played Soul Reaver. I enjoyed that game quite a lot. And then my big one was Mega Man 1. And this was because I didn't think that game existed. Mm-hmm. I had Mega Man 2, I had Mega Man 3 and 4 and 5. I've never heard of Mega Man 1. I've never seen Mega Man 1. You know,
so you didn't put 2 and 2 together and
No,
realize that it had to have stemmed from something.
the thing is, I've just never seen it. So this was my
Yeah.
test to see if Santa was real. I'm asking Santa for Mega Man 1 because I've never seen that game and it does not exist.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember opening the game, like, specifically. It was in my stocking. And I don't even think I wanted to open the rest of my gifts. I was just like,
we done.
I'm done. Like, this is incredible.
You start with your stocking. You're one of those people?
Yes.
Okay.
I told you, my dad films the thing.
Says a lot.
It's got a whole protocol that we got to follow, or he's like, "Arr." So we had to do
repackages them, puts them back in, and start all over.
Come back down the stairs. But no, yeah. So there's a whole system, position the camera on the tripod, all that stuff we had to do. But I do remember thinking Mega Man 1 couldn't, like, no one could get me Mega Man 1. So I asked Santa for Mega Man 1, and I remember opening Mega Man 1 and not caring
That seems
about
like
any
the
other
kids
gifts.
of like the 70s and the 80s who are like, man, that X-Men issue 1 or that, you know, something like that, that Superman, you know, whatever.
Still have them to this day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a video game Christmas memory I remember quite fondly, and I really want to find the tape of that to see if I'm like, okay, I'm done, or to see if I'm just like, oh, it's Christmas and there's presents, so I'm gonna open all of these, which is probably more likely. But anyway, that's it for Christmas memories this year. I really do think we did that question last year, but it doesn't matter. We'll bring it back every year. It's Christmas. Who cares? It's
don't
the
remember.
Gift, it's the gift that keeps on giving. I
Is
don't
it?
remember either.
No.
But maybe. So that's it for this episode of the Press X podcast. Thank you for being here, Nick.
Ho, ho, ho. Yep.
I'm sorry I allowed you to do that. And thank you so much for watching. We'll speak with you next time.